Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. In the previous lesson, we learned about harf al-nasb, which gives the mudari al-nasb, that was kay. And we have seen that it has three forms. It can be used as kay, and it can be used as likay. And if we used to use la with that, then we can also use it all together and it becomes likay la. And today, inshallah, we are going to learn the fourth, a particle of nasb, or as we say, adatu nasb, which is idhan. So we have already learned about lan, and we have learned about an, and we have also learned about kay. And this is the last one, the fourth one, which is called idhan. It has some rules that we need to know how to use it. Idhan, as we can see here, is another particle of nasb. It precedes the mudari and renders it mansub. That means it comes before fi'l mudari and makes it mansub. And what does it mean? It means in that case, or then. We can translate it in two ways, then or in that case. And why do we use it? It's very important. It is used to only to reply a statement. So it's not used in any other case. It can only be used when you want to reply a statement. And for example, if your friend tells you, يرجع المدير اليوم من الخارج, the headmaster is returning today from abroad, and now you have this statement, you have got some information, right? So now when you want to reply him, then you will say, إذن نستقبله في المطار. In that case, we will receive him at the airport. Now we can see over here, it was basically nastaqbiluhu. It was lu, and it has changed into la because of idhan. Okay. However, the condition that we have seen is it should be a reply to a statement. We can't just use it as a statement. It should come as a reply to the statement. And it can render, as we can see here, it then renders the verb mansub only in the following three conditions. So there are three conditions, and if these three conditions are met, only then we can say that we are using this properly. Number one, it then should be at the beginning of the sentence. So condition number one is it should be in the beginning or at the beginning of the sentence. So condition number one is met. And it should not be preceded by any other word, and there shouldn't be anything before it. So condition number one is met. Condition number two is the verb should immediately follow it. And we can see that the verb nastaqbilahu is coming straight away or right after it. So that means it is meeting the condition that the verb comes straight after that. That's number two. Okay, however, you know that it's a language, and in the language, we always have exceptions. And the exceptions are that if there is an intervention by la an-nafiya, or if there is an oath after that or before that, then it's possible to use it. So there are two exceptions. If we have la an-nafiya, or if we have oath, that means al-qasam. And then we have the third one is if the verb should denote futurity, and it should tell us about the future. So the third one, if you look at the meaning over here, it says, in that case, we will receive him at the airport. So the condition number one is it should be at the beginning of the sentence. Condition number two is that it should come straight after, the verb should come straight after it. And the condition number three is it should give the meaning of the future. If any of these conditions is not met, that means we cannot use idhan. Then that's how it is used. So, but if we say نحن إذن نستقبله, now we can see over here نستقبله. Okay, now it is not mansub. Why it is not mansub? Because before إذن we have نحن, and the condition is it should come at the beginning of the sentence. But here the condition is not met. And similarly, if you say إذن في المطار, and again the condition is not met, what happened over here? There is a gap between the verb and between idhan. There shouldn't be a gap. There are two exceptions. What are the exceptions? There can be la nafi over here, or there can be oath over here. Then it's okay. But if there is a gap in between, then we cannot use it. I mean, we can use it, but then we cannot use it as a nasib. It will not give nasb to the mudari. It's not wrong to use it, but the only thing that we need to make sure that after this, the mudari will not become mansub. It will remain as it is. It will not become mansub. Like here and here, we don't see fatha over here, and we don't see fatha over here. And the reason is, in the beginning we have nahnu, and here we have a gap between idhan and the verb, as we can see over here. However, if we say idhan wallahi, now what do we have? We have oath. Okay, so if we have oath, then we have discussed that this is an exception, and then after that idhan will be adatun nasb, and then it will make the mudari mansub. Now it is possible to make it mansub, and what the reason is? The reason is because we have oath over here. That's exception number one. And exception number two, we have la an-nafiya. Idhan la nastaqbilahu fil matari, then we will not welcome him at the airport. So now, because we have la over here, so that is also possible. So these two exceptions have been met. Exception number one, if after idhan we have oath, then it has to be mansub. And number two, if after idhan we have la and nafiya, then also it is possible that it can become mansub. If these conditions are not met, then it will not be mansub. Okay, also it should give the meaning of the future. Tasilu al-hafilatu ila al-matari as-sa'ata al-thaniyata. The bus arrives at the airport at 2. Idhan akhafu an tafutani ar-rihlatu. In that case, I am afraid I will miss the flight. Okay, now akhafu is not mansub. It doesn't have nasb. Why is that? Can you figure out, like, why is it not akhafa? Why is it akhafu? We can see that the condition is met over here, because after idhan, we know that if the verb comes right after that, then the verb has to be mansub. But here it is not mansub. What happened over here? Here akhafu is marfu because it does not denote futurity. It does not refer to the future. Idhan akhafu an tafutani ar-rihlatu. I am afraid that I will miss the flight. So when you say I am afraid I will miss the flight, or I'm going to miss the flight, that means you are talking about something now, and it's not something that is going to happen in the future. So that's why if it does not give the meaning of the future, I'm afraid. In that case, I'm afraid. Idhan akhafu. So I'm afraid. Is it future? Of course it's not when you say I am afraid. Okay. So that's why in this case, it is not mansub. So these are few things that we need to know about idhan. Idhan nantaqilu ala safa thaniya. Okay, so now we have the same thing in Arabic. Idhan antadhiraka, so that, or then I will wait you. In that case, I will wait you. Idhan min nawasib al-madari. It is from the nawasib al-madari. Wa tusamma harfa jawabin wa jaza'in. What do we call it? The harf of jawab wa jaza. That means giving answer or reward. Wa nasbin, and number 2, it gives nasb to the madari. Wa istiqbalin, and number 3, it refers to the future. So it has 3 functions. Number 1, it is harfu jawabin. It comes as an answer to the statement. That's number 1. Number 2, it gives nasb to the mudari. And number 3, it gives the meaning of the future. تأمل الأمثلة الآتية. Now we have to reflect on the following examples. تفهم معناها. Okay, excellent. Now, تفهم معناها. Here, mudari is majzoom. What happened over here? I think this is like we have discussed it many times now. So here mudari is majzoom. What happened to mudari over here? Why would it become majzoom? Because it is jawab at-talab. Ya Rab, this is jawab at-talab. Why? Where is the talab? Ta'ammal. Ta'ammal is what? It is fi'l al-amr. It's a command, okay? تأمل الأمثلة الآتية. Reflect on the following examples. تفهم معناها. You will understand the meaning. And we have discussed it many times now. I think now you should get used to it, that whenever there is a talab, when there is an order or there is a request or there is nafi, then after that the mudari becomes majzoom. That means the ending becomes sakin. So example number 1, Hamidun sa'azuruka al-yawma ba'da salat al-maghribi insha'Allahu. I will visit you today after Maghrib prayer if Allah wills. Khalidun idhan intadiraka. In that case, I will wait for you. I will wait for you. So now it is mansub. And why it is mansub? Because all the conditions have been met. What are the conditions? Number 1, it is jawab, where like Hamid gave you some information and you are replying him. So that's condition number 1, that it should be in the beginning of the sentence. So we can see that it's in the beginning of the sentence. Number 2, it should make the mudari mansub, and we can see that the mudari is mansub over here. And number 3, it gives the meanings of the future. Idhan intadiraka, in that case, so that I will wait for you. So when you use it for in these, if the 3 conditions have been met, that means we can make it mansub, and all the conditions have been met over here. Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher. هذا أحسن معجم مدرسي. This is the best school dictionary. الطلاب, the student. إذن نشتريه. In that case, we will buy it. And again, it's in the beginning of the sentence, and it makes the madari mansub, and it also gives the meaning of the future. In that case, we will buy it. So we will buy it. Of course, it is future. علي يصل أستاذنا غدا إلى المدينة المنورة إن شاء الله. Our teacher will arrive or reach Medina Munawwara tomorrow if Allah wills. زملاؤه, his friends or his colleagues. إذن نستقبله في المطار. In that case, we will welcome him at the airport. Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher. أخشى أن يطوى قيدك. I am afraid. Okay, يطوى is active or passive? Passive, excellent. Hada yahdi, hudiya yuhda, tawa yatwi, tuwiya yutwa. Okay, yutwa qayduka, and this is an expression that means that you will be struck off, or your name will be struck off from the school or from the college. فَإِنَّ غِيَابَكَ كَثِيرٌ. Indeed, you have lots of absences. So why would he, or why his name, or why would he be expelled from the college or from the school? He will be expelled because he has lots of absences. Hamidun idhan la aghiba fil mustaqbali insha'Allah. In that case, I will not be absent in the future if Allah wills. And now here it is mansub. Why it is mansub? There is a gap between idhan and aghiba, but this gap is permissible. If we have la an-nafiya, or if we have al-qasam, oath over here, then it is possible to make it mansub, as we can see over here. تنسب إذن الفعل المضارع بالشروط الآتية. And now we have the same conditions in Arabic. أن تكون متصدرة, that it comes at the beginning of the sentence. تصدر يتصدر, and متصدرة, we can see over here that this is basically متصدرة. Okay, so it is اسم المفعول, right? متصدرة, so this is اسم المفعول. تصدر يتصدر تصدرا أن تكون متصدرة, that it comes at the beginning of the sentence. That is condition number 1. Number 2, أن تكون غير مفصولة, that it is not distant. فصل يفصل إن يوم الفصل كان. So we can see over here that أن تكون غير مفصولة, that it should not be distant. عن الفعل بغير القسم ولا النافية. It shouldn't be distant from the verb except for oath and la an-nafiya. So there are 2 exceptions. What are the 2 exceptions? That if there is a qasam or oath after that, and if we have la an-nafiya after that, as we can see over here, in this case, then it will accept an-nasb, and then it will be mansub. And the condition number 3 is أن يكون زمن الفعل المستقبلا, and then the tense, or then the time, should be for the future, and that means it should refer to the future time. If it does not refer to the future time, then we can use it. But what's going to happen? The mudari will not become mansoob. So did you understand?
Yes, Ustad.
Okay, excellent. In that case, we have over here Hati thalathata amthilatin li idhan. Now we have to provide 3 examples of idhan. Hamidun. So we have over here Hamidun sa'ati kabad al asri insha'Allah. I will come to you after Asr prayer if Allah wills. Bilalun idhan la akhruja. In that case, I will not leave. So we can see over here, after idhan we have la, and it is
Yes,
permissible to have la after that. And then if we have la after that, the mudari becomes mansoob. That is example number 1.
But actually, after la nafia, the verb is actually marfu. But when it is preceded, la nafia is preceded by izn, then it becomes mansub, is it?
Mansoob, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so it was basically la akhruju. You're right, yeah. But the idea is that between idhan and the verb, there shouldn't be no space. There shouldn't be no distance, right? There shouldn't be yani
Only
غير
permissible
منفصل.
is to, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but 2 exceptions are there. If we have la or we have wallahi over there,
La nafia,
yani
as
idhan
well as-
wallahi la akhruja, that's also possible, right? So
Yeah.
2 possibilities are there. Al-Mudarrisu al-Shaykhu al-Halali or al-Hilali alimun jalilun. Sheikh Hilali is a very honorable or very prominent alim. وَدُرُوسُهُ مُفِيدَةٌ, and his lessons are beneficial. At-Tullabu, the students, إِذَنْ نَحْضُرَ دُرُوسَهُ.
In that case, I will attend it.
Yeah, in that case, we will attend his lessons. So now you see the translation. In that case, we will attend his lessons. Yeah, okay. Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher. سأنتقل إلى بيتي الجديد غدا إن شاء الله. I will move to my new house tomorrow if Allah wills. The students التلاميذ إذن نساعدك. In that case, we will help you. Okay. Now we have here exercise يقول طالب شيئا. A student says something. ويرد عليه زميله مستعملا إذن, and then his colleague or his classmate replies to him or replies to her using إذن. So this is oral exercise, inshallah. If you find someone to practice with, please try to do that. Now we have the combination of la wala. لَاسْتَحْمَمْتُ وَلَا أَفْتَرْتُ. So what does it mean? Neither and nor. Yeah, neither and nor, right? And now in this condition, with the past tense, we can use la. As we know that la is used with the mudari. لا أذهب إلى العمل اليوم. I won't go to work today. But if you want to use it with the past tense, then it has to be the combination of la wala together. إذا نفي الماضي, if the past tense is negative, or if we make it negative, or if it is made negative because this is passive, bila, using la, wajaba takraruha, then it is necessary that we repeat it. وفي التنزيل, and in the Quran, فلا صدق ولا صلى, as we can see over here. And he, the disbeliever, had not believed, nor had he prayed. Or he neither believed and nor prayed. It's possible to translate it in both ways. Now, what is this? Infi al-fi'laini. What does that mean? Yes, there is a, I think, question over there.
And if that means negated.
Yeah, make negative, right?
Yeah.
Infi al-fi'laini.
Both the
Or negates the verbs. في كل جملة, in every sentence, مما يأتي بلا, that follows by using la. Okay, so look at the verb. Basically the verb is little bit practice, because I'm afraid you might have forgotten about it. So we have al-fi'l al-naqis because it has alif maqsura in the end, or we can say ya in the end. So it is what? Nafa yanfi nafyun, to negate. Okay, now how do we make fi'l al-amr?
We
we
drop the
take
mudare.
we take the like صيغة of المخاطب
First we
تنفي يعني
make it
أنت or أنت
majzoom.
تنفي. Mhm.
Make it majzoom.
Make it مجزوم. So how do we make it مجزوم? We drop
Tanfi.
alif
Drop the
مقصورة, so
alful
it
billah.
becomes tanfi, right? Okay. Now what's next?
Then drop the mudare. The
علامة المضارع. Excellent. So we drop it, and now it becomes.
It is not readable.
It's not readable. Excellent, because in Arabic, a word cannot start with sakin. It's not readable. So now what do we have to provide?
Insert the hamzatul
Hamzatul
wasl.
wasl. Okay. What should be the haraka of hamzatul wasl?
Depends on the third letter. So if it is kasra or fatha, it will be kasra.
Excellent. And if we have
If it is
dhamma over
dhamma,
here, yeah,
will
then
be
we will
dhamma.
put dhamma. So in this case, we will put kasra. Okay, excellent. So we have infi, as we can see over here. Okay, it's on the same pattern. If you can practice one verb, it's on the pattern of hada yahdi. Hada yahdi. And what is fi'l al-amr?
Ihdi.
Ihdi. Yeah, ihdi. Ihdi as-sirat al-mustaqim, right? So if you can remember one example, inshallah, it will be enough. Okay, so قرأت الدرس وكتبته. I read a lesson and then I wrote it. You want to say, I neither read nor wrote. So how would you say? لا قرأت ولا كتبت. Yeah. لا قرأت الدرس ولا كتبته. Yeah, who refers to the lesson? Okay. So لا قرأت الدرس ولا كتبته. I neither read nor wrote the lesson. رأيته وكلمته. I saw him and I spoke to him. You want to say, I neither saw him nor spoke to him.
لا رأيته
لا رأيته
ولا
ولا
كلمته.
كلمته. Excellent. Perfect. ضربني وضربته. He hit me and I hit him. Now you want to say, he neither hit me nor I hit him.
لا ضربني ولا
Yes, ولا ضربته. Excellent. So basically we have to put لا ولا, right? لا ضربني ولا ضربته. أكلنا وشربنا. We ate and we drank.
We neither ate nor we drank.
Not drank, okay.
لا
أكلنا
أكلنا
ولا شربنا. شربنا. شرب يشرب ولا شربنا. Okay. Now here we have واو الحال. In the beginning of the lesson we discussed about it, and in one of the previous lessons, I guess in lesson number 4, we discussed about واو الحال being used with a nominal sentence, al-jumla al-ismiya. Now we will see, inshallah, in this lesson how to use it with al-jumlatul fi'liya. If we have a verbal sentence, how to use it. The teacher says, Al-ana ta'ti wa qad intaha ad-darsu. You come now while the lesson has finished. إذا دخلت واو الحال على جملة فعلية فعلها ماض مثبت دخلت معها قد. So whenever واو الحال comes with a verbal sentence, فعلها ماض مثبت. So then its verb is affirmative and past. So two conditions: it should be past and it should be positive or affirmative. But دخلت معها قد, and also it should have قد with that. So what are the two conditions that we need to have? After wow, number 1, we need to have
an
qad,
affirmative sentence.
and number 2, it should be affirmative sentence and it should be past.
I think someone
Intaha
has raised
is the
their
past
hand.
tense.
Someone
Yeah,
has
and if
raised-
these two conditions are met, then we can say that this is waw al-hal. And why do we use it? To give the meaning of while or when. While I was doing this, you called me, this is what happened. While I was doing that, that thing happened. So in that case, we use this واو الحال. تأمل المثال ثم أكمل الناقصة. Reflect on the example and then complete the incomplete. دخلت المسجد والإمام يسلم. I entered the masjid while the imam was saying at-taslim. Okay. So now you see over here, wal imamu yusallimu, and the imam was saying taslim. And now we can see over here that this is jumlatun ismiyatun. It is a nominal sentence. دخلت المسجد وقد سلم الإمام.
While the imam was
No. I entered the masjid
while the imam was
and the imam had already said at-taslim.
Okay, taslim.
قد سلم الإمام, yani the Imam had already said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's called taslim, right? So
Yeah.
he had already said the taslim. Okay.
Or
Now what we
concluded
have
the
over
word.
here? We have jumlatun fi'liyatun. We have a verbal sentence. Fi'luha madin, and the past, the verb is past,
Sallama.
and muthbatun, and this is affirmative. It is
Affirmative.
not negative. Excellent. So these are the two conditions that need to be met if we want to use waw al-hal with the verbal sentence. Most of the times in the Quran, and there are many examples in the Quran and also in everyday Arabic, I've noticed, it is used with jumla ismiya, but it is also possible that it can be used with the jumla fi'liya. Okay. So now what we have to do? دخلت المسجد والإمام يكبر. I entered the masjid and the Imam was saying takbir. He was saying Allahu Akbar. So now we have to change it into verbal sentence. دخلت المسجد, and here al-imamu yukabbiru. So we will put waw over there. Yeah. And then after waw, what do we have to put?
Qad.
Qad. Okay. Up till here, we are fine. Okay. So what is the past tense of yukabbir?
Kabbara.
Kabbara. Excellent. Ahsant. Yeah. So waqad kabbara al-imamu. Perfect. So we put kabbara over here, and then al-imamu will be over there, and kabbara yukabbiru takbir, and we know that this is from number 2, and sometimes from number 2 only one word gives the meaning of the complete sentence. So this is one of the characteristics of from number 2, that only one word, like kabbara, as we can see over here, it can similarly hamada, similarly halala, yuhallilu tahlilan when we say alhamdulillah. So there are many cases that one word from number 2 can give the meaning of the complete sentence. So kabbara means to say Allahu Akbar. Okay, so dakhaltu al-masjida wa qad kabbara al-imamu. I entered the masjid, but the meaning will change over here. And the Imam had already said Allahu Akbar.
While it will not come while, Ustad?
Sorry?
It will not come as while translating?
Yeah, while. Sorry. Did I say and? Yeah, it shouldn't be and. Yeah, thank you. So while the Imam had already said Allahu Akbar. دخلنا المسجد والمؤذن يقيم. We entered the masjid while the muadhin was establishing the prayer, right?
Qama al-muazzin.
Yeah, aqama yuqimu is to say iqama, right?
Yeah.
Okay. دخلنا المسجد وقد
Qama
أقام المؤذن. Excellent. وقد أقام المؤذن. Perfect. دخلنا المسجد, we entered the masjid while the muadhin had already said iqama. Iqama is like establishing the prayer, right? وصلنا المدينة المنورة, we entered Medina Munawwara. والشمس تغرب, while the sun was setting. While the sun was setting.
And this one is Jumlatul Ismiya, and this also means while, is it? Or we have
Yeah,
to
exactly.
say,
Yeah. Yeah, it shouldn't be
this also,
translated as and. I think I mistakenly translated as and. It should be translated as while. Yeah.
Are you sure, Ustad? We have to translate. I think, yeah, this is while only, because after wow, we have a Jumlatul Ismiya. Right?
Yeah, so while, right?
Yeah, from Ismiya, the wow of Ismiya is changing into wow of this thing. I got it, Ustad. Yeah.
Waw al-hal.
So both are whiles only. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Both of them should be translated as while. وصلنا المدينة المنورة. We reached Medina Munawwara.
وقد
Okay.
غرب الشمس.
Shams. Yeah, Shams is feminine, isn't it?
غربت.
غربت. Yeah, excellent. وقد غربت الشمس. Okay. وصلنا المدينة المنورة. We reached Medina Munawwara while the sun had already set. وقد غربت الشمس, while the sun had already set. Okay. وصلت المطار. I reached the airport. والطائرة تهبط, while the aeroplane was landing or it was descending.
وقد هبط الطائرة. هبط الطائرة.
وقد هبطت الطائرة. Okay, excellent.
Okay, even this is Tau Tanis will come.
Yeah, so yeah, وصلت المطار. I reached the airport. وقد هبطت الطائرة, and while the airplane had already landed. Okay. دخلت الفصل والمدرس يشرح الدرس. I entered the classroom while the teacher was explaining the lesson.
دخلت الفصل وقد
شرح, excellent.
شرح المدرس
الدرس, excellent, perfect. دخلت الفصل وقد شرح المدرس الدرس. I entered the classroom while the teacher had already explained the lesson. So now we can see over here that واو الحال plus الجملة الاسمية. So after واو الحال, we have only nominal sentence. But when we have واو الحال with the verbal sentence, then after that we have واو الحال, and after that we have قد, and then we have الجملة الفعلية فعلها ماض مثبت, and then after that we have a verbal sentence, and the tense should be
sentence and
past,
should be tense.
and it should be affirmative.
Yeah,
Okay,
should be
excellent.
preceded by had.
Ja'ala. Do you know the meaning of ja'ala? What does it mean?
Yes, jala to make.
To make. Okay. So now, inshallah, we will see over here that ja'ala has different meanings, and it has been used in different contexts in the Quran, as we can see here. The verb ja'ala has 4 meanings. Number 1, to make, which is a common meaning that we already know. To cause something to be or become something. So it is because in Arabic it is called sayyara yusayyaru. Inshallah, we will see when we do the Arabic part. To cause something to be or to become something. So you cause something to become something, right? So we can see here that in this sense, it takes 2 objects. So whenever it is used in the context of making something or making something happen, then it should take 2 objects. For example, سأجعل هذه الغرفة دكانا. So now we can see over here, I will make this room a shop. So الغرفة المفعول الأول, دكانا المفعول الثاني. So سأجعل, I will make. So that means I will cause, or I will make the room, or I will change the room to be changed into a shop, or I will make the room to be changed into a shop. So in this case, it will require 2 objects, room and shop. So this is called tasir. Inshallah, we will see about that. Sayyara yusayyiru tasyiran, to make something happen or to make something become something. And there is another example. Ja'ala Allahu al-khamra haraman. Allah has had made alcoholic drinks haram. So we can see over here, al-khamra haraman. So it has 2 objects again over here. And in the Quran we have وَجَعَلَ الْقَمَرَ فِيهِنَّ نُورًا وَجَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ سِرَاجًا. So what happened?
Khamara and
Qamara.
Noor
Qamar is what? Noor, yeah. And Shams is what?
Shams and Siraj.
Siraj. Okay, yeah, excellent. Yeah. So he made the moon in light there, a light therein, and he made the sun a lamp. وَجَعَلَ الْقَمَرَ فِيهِنَّ نُورًا. So first one is here al-maf'ul al-awwal wa maf'ul al-thani. And then again, وَجَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ al-maf'ul al-awwal wa maf'ul al-thani. So that means it gives the meaning of to cause something to be. To cause something to be. That means to make, as we can see over here. وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَجَعَلَ النَّاسَ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً النَّاسَ وَأُمَّةً. Yeah. And had your Lord so willed, he would have made mankind one nation. Okay, what do you remember about law? Does anyone remember?
It will be preceded by this thing, Ustad. La jala is
Yeah, harfu imtinain limtinain, right?
Emphasis.
That since something did not happen, that's why the other thing did not happen. So there are 2 things, and both of them are impossible. Yeah. So when there are 2 impossibilities, then law is used. Okay. And after law, the verb always takes
lam
maftuha, yeah, with fatha. Okay, you need to remember these things. Then we have it gives the meaning of to think. So in this case, it gives the meaning of dhanna. It gives the meaning of what? Dhanna. So to deem, in this sense, it also takes 2 objects. Aja'altani mudiran, have you made me a headmaster? Do you think I am a headmaster? So the meaning will be, do you think I am a headmaster? And we know that dhanna also means to think as well. وَجَعَلُوا الْمَلَائِكَةَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ إِنَاثًا. and they made the angels, yani they believed or they thought the angels, who are servants of Ar-Rahman, yani angels, females, they considered them as females. Yeah. So al-malaikata and inatha, we can see over here, it has two objects. Yeah, okay. And then we have to create something. Create means awjada. Awjada means to create something. So the reason I'm telling you now, so that inshallah when we do the Arabic part, you remember the meaning. Awjada means to create. Alhamdulillah alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal ard wa ja'ala adh-dhulumati wan nur. So we can see over here, all praises for Allah who created the heavens and the earth and made the darkness and light. Here it is translated as made, but it is considered as to create.
Change. What's the difference between again create and make? Almost it makes the same sense, Ustad. Then
yeah, I mean it's like the perception of the person.
Like changing or wajala zulumati one nur or something like that.
And yani he created because a nur and darkness is something that is created. It is not something that is made, right? Okay. It is something that comes into existence by creating it. So in either case, like what we have to see over here is like sometimes it's the perceptive meaning. Perceptive meaning means something that you perceive by your heart or by your mind, and it's not the actual meaning.
Actual objects, okay.
Yeah, it's not the actual meaning, it's the perceptive, as we can see, because the real meaning is the real word that is used for creating is khalaqa. Yeah. And if you look at the translation, it is translated as made, but here it means to make means to create something. So it's basically similar to khalaqa, but here the verb that is used in the Quran is jala, and that is the beauty of the Arabic
another sense also knows that, like to transform one thing to another, like
jala. To another, yeah, that is called the first one. That was the first one is
okay. So
sayyara yusayyiru tasyiran, yeah.
Okay, to change from one this thing, like I molded the clay into a doll, something like that. So
like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like so. That comes in the first meaning, Ustad.
Yes, and here, okay. How many objects does it take?
Here also it takes two, I guess.
No, please check here. It says one object.
One object, okay.
Because dhulumat wa nur, it is this is wow. Al-atf, yeah, okay. Al-atf. Okay. So why do we use it? To connect two nouns or two sentences or two verbs. So it's basically one, isn't it? So the object is one. Wajala dhulumati wa nura. Yani wajala as we can see over here, he made the light and darkness.
Because this dhulumati is again nasab and this is also, so it should be two right now, but it's just connected with wawul atf.
Okay, so dhulumat is mansub, isn't it?
Yeah.
And nur is also mansub.
Yes.
And they are connected by waw.
But it's wow atf, so it is two like anything connecting this and this and this, that it doesn't mean that all thing is one. It is like two things, right, Ustad? So two things we're just connecting by and. It's like a conjunction. So how we
it
can
is, but
one thing?
even if you have wajala dhulumati wal nura wal arda wal shamsa wal qamara wal nahara wal layla, it will be considered as one. Mm-hmm. It's like different things, but all of them are basically all in one. Please remember that this waw al-atf, basically it is used to combine two similar things. It can be used to combine two nouns, two nominal sentences, two verbal sentences, or two verbs. Okay, so whatever you're combining, they will be considered as one. Okay, for example, you have إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ. Nasrullahi wal-fathu, the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the victory, they are considered as one and not two. Mm-hmm. So please note it down that whenever you use wow to connect two things, okay, they will be considered as one object. The object will be one, but it can consist of many things. It can be 5, 6, like I gave you the example of wal arda wal shamsa wal qamara wal nura wal dhulumat, all of them. But at the end of the day, they will be considered as one object. In English, for example, you say, I and Fatima and Zainab and let's say Aisha went to the market. So all of you are one subject or all of you are different subjects?
It's one subject, female.
One subject, but, yeah. But there are many people, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what? But as a subject, when you look at the language linguistically, what will you say? All of you are subject. In the place of subject, went is the verb, and then to the market is prepositional phrase, or maful bihi via preposition. But the subject, you are all considered as one, aren't you?
Yes, but
Even though
so
you are there and
I
Fatima
just
is there and Zainab is there and your sisters are there, but it is considered as one subject. Similarly, if there are 5 or 6 or 7 things, and when they are connected with and, they will be considered as one object.
so can you go to the first example 1 second, the previous slide? How
Sure.
was that? Okay, to make, to cause something to be sajala hazihi ghurfa. Okay, just to transform, we can say
To
to make
transform,
it.
exactly, yeah.
Okay, this one is
And
to
inshallah, we will see in Arabic that the verb that has been used over there is
Sara.
sayyara, la sayyara, from number 2. Sara
Okay.
yasiru is to become, but
Okay.
sayyara is to make.
Okay.
To cause something to become, yeah, to cause something to become. So that's why
Okay.
it is called sayyara.
Okay, this I understood. Okay, Ustad.
All right, and then it has the meaning of to begin as well. In this case, it acts like kana and has ism and khabar. Its khabar is the verbal sentence with the verb in the mudari. Ja'ala Hamidun yadribuni. Hamid began beating me. And we also call them af'al shurur. If you remember, we have learned about, I think, lesson, I don't remember the lesson, but we have learned in detail about af'al shurur that are used to give the meaning of when you start to do
Like
something.
Yeah.
For example, you say, Ja'ala tiflu yamshi. The baby started walking, started to walk. Yeah. So here it does not mean that the kid made something happen. It gives the meaning of to begin. So it gives the meaning of begin. Hamid began beating me. Jala Hamidun yadribuni. Hamid started, or Hamid began beating me or started beating me. Here Hamid is its ism and sentence yadribuni is khabar, as we can see over here. وجعلته بينكم محرما. جعل هنا من أفعال التحويل. Now we can see over here يعني وهي بمعنى صير. That means that you make something become something. We have the verb صار يصير is to become. صار يصير is to become. Okay. But when you have صير يصير, from number 2 is what? It is causative, right? So that means you cause something to happen. You cause something to become something. That's why it is called sayyara, and it has 2 objects. It needs 2 objects. تنصب مفعولين أصلهما مبتدأ وخبر. And now we have the same thing over here, that it gives object to 2. It gives object to 2 objects, we could say. And here we say al-khamru haramun is a verbal, it's a nominal sentence, mubtada and khabar. But when we change it into ja'ala, then we say ja'ala Allahu al-khamra haraman. Then you can see that we have 2 objects over here. And we have here in the Quran, ألم تروا كيف خلق الله 7 سماوات طباقا وجعل القمر فيهن نورا وجعل الشمس سراجا. So here, وجعل القمر فيهن نورا, as we can see here, the same example we discussed a while ago, and similarly, وجعل الشمس سراجا. So here, it means that he made something happen or transfer into 2 things. So that's why we can see over here. Now here, وَجَعَلَ الْقَمَرَ فِيهِنَّ نُورًا is sentence number 1, isn't it? And this is waw al-istinafiyah. This is used to start a sentence. And here we have waw al-ataf, and after that we have sentence number 2, وَجَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ سِرَاجًا. And here this waw is basically connecting to verbal sentences, as I mentioned earlier, that it can be used to connect 2 verbal sentences or nominal sentences. However, it is a different sentence, isn't it? So ja'ala, he made ash-shamsa, the sun, siraja, a burning lamp, as we can see over here. Wallahu ja'ala lakum al-arda bisata. Again, al-arda wal bisata. It has 2 objects. Walau sha'a rabbuka la ja'ala an-nasa ummatan wahidatan. And we have discussed here again object number 1 and object number 2. وتأتي جعل بمعنى ظن وهي من أفعال الرجحان نحو. So here it gives the meaning of dhanna, as we can see over here. And there are, mashallah, so many categories of verbs we have been discussing from number 1, and book number 1, and it is like seems to be unending, right? So وَجَعَلُ الْمَلَائِكَةَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ إِنَاثًا. So when it means dhanna, then also it requires two objects, al-malaikata wa inatha. And they regarded, or they regard, as you can see over here. Now it gives the meaning of they regard. And it's not they made the angels, they thought the angels, or they regarded, or they
They
think
think,
of
yeah.
the angels, or they make the angels, right? Sorry?
Yes, Ustad, the thinking comes here.
Yeah,
There's
the
a
thinking. Dhanna, we know that dhanna has two objects, right?
what
Sometimes.
they regard or what
Yeah,
they
and then we have جعل بهذين المعنيين من أخوات الظن. So here جعل is in the meaning of ظن or أخوات الظن. فتكون أيضا من أفعال الشروع, and it can be the verbs of beginning, to begin something. But تعمل حينئذ, and at that time عمل كان, it does the function of كان. نحو جعل حامد يضربني, the example that وقد مرت بك في درس سابق, and you have learned about this in the previous lesson, and we have learned it recently. وتأتي بمعنى أوجد, and it gives the meaning of to create something, creating. وهي فعل تام, and now here it is a فعل تام, يعني it is a complete verb. وتنسب مفعولا واحدا, and we can see over here that it gives object only to one مفعول. كما في قوله تعالى الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور. So as we can see over here الأرض, and similarly جعل الظلمات والنور. So here it's easier. خلق السماوات والأرض, it will be considered as one object, and والظلمات والنور also will be considered as one object because they are connected with wow. Okay, alhamdulillah, we are almost there. عين معنى جعل فيما يأتي. Now we have to specify the meaning of جعل, and inshallah I'm sure that we are able to do that. Okay, the first one is جعل المدرس يشرح الدرس.
This is the beginning. The
Yeah,
teacher began to
yeah, the teacher started explaining the lesson. Yeah,
listen.
so this is min أفعال الشروع. Yeah,
Yes.
أفعال الشروع. The teacher started explaining the lesson. وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل.
This is again connected with waul atf, so it's one object, so made. The
We
subject
made,
of-
yeah. So بمعنى صيرة, excellent. So بمعنى صيرة, يعني we made, excellent. جعل الله الهواء والماء. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the air and water. Created. I gave you that hint already.
Yes, again
بمعنى
it comes with the sayara only, Ustad. No, this one
No.
comes with the first one. The first one to this one to
Please look at the translation. جعل الله الهواء والماء. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. جعل الظلمات والنور, created. So it means أوجد. It is in the context of what? أوجد, بمعنى أوجد. So that's why I explained in detail that أوجد means to create. أفعل الشروع, that means he began or he started doing something. And صير means to change something into something.
But what is the difference here? Also, it's connected with waul atf, and here also it is connected with waul atf. So that actually gives a you said as
The thing is, for example, here, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ is
mhm.
object number one, and شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ is object number two, isn't it? So it has two
Yes.
objects. It has how many objects? Two.
Objects,
What is object number one?
the
Kum.
attached pronoun here.
Yeah, and then شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ, as I told you, that it should be considered as one object,
Yeah.
isn't it? Is it
Okay.
clear now?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
Which
Okay,
are
I have a
allowed-
question now. Here we have شعوبًا and here we have قبائل. Both of them are mansub. Here it is
These are
fathatan and here it is
Adjectives, Ustad.
sorry.
No, no,
Why
no.
it's not qabailan? My question is why is it not qabailan?
This is diptode
Okay, why is it?
because of the pattern, Ustad. Mafail.
Mafailu. Qabailu, mafailu. So it's on the pattern of mafailu. Yeah. So both of them are mansub, but this is mansub fathatan and this is diptot mamnu min as-sarf. So that's why it does not accept fathatan. It only accepts fatha. Or it will accept only dhamma or fatha, not kasra. قال المدرس للطالب, the teacher said to the student, أجعلتني مديرا? Do you think of me as a manager?
This is Zanna.
بمعنى
Zanna.
okay. And it should have two objects. Where are the two objects?
that Ya Mutakallim
Ya
and
al-Mutakallim object number 1
Mudir.
and Mudiran is object number 2.
Still, it is confusing, Ustad, the 2 and 3, because the
So
third
how
one,
how
yeah.
to rectify whether this is Sayyid and Awjad?
Because here
See,
it
here
has
also he Jalnakum, and he made you into tribes and nations, and this is also he made, and this is also like Hawa and Ma are again this thing, Ustad. So I don't.
here the only thing that you need to focus on as of now is here it has one object and here it has two objects, isn't it?
Okay.
So whenever it is used bimana sayyara and whenever it is used bimana vanna, and then it will take two objects.
Mafulan, okay.
It will take two objects. And I think min af'al shuru, this is easy to understand.
Yeah.
And whenever you see that there is one object, that means in that case it is used in the context of he
Awjada.
created.
Okay.
He created, and this is for fahm al-Quran. That is what we say tadabbur and tadarus, that we are trying to understand the meaning in depth. Because if you look at the English translation, it will be translated as he made. He made. But then being an Arabic student and the student of the Quran, you can perceive it. Your perception says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, and he didn't make something, he created something. So we can say that's why it is in the meaning of awjada, yani he created.
Yeah, this is easy, Ustad. As you said, two mafulain,
Objects, yeah.
then it will be sayara, and if it is one mafulain with connected with wa'ul atf, then it should be awjada. This
Awjada.
is easy. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, ya Rab. Okay, then subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.
Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum